Hello and welcome to News Tonight. I am Rhoda Ngonzi. Let's look at the top stories. Senior 1 selection kicks off with most schools maintaining 2022 cut-off points. Parliament Select Committee on NSSF registers more evidence, while MPs reject committee report on exorbitant school fees. And the 42nd Tarehe Sita celebration set for Mbarara. Hello once more. The cut-off points for students entering Senior 1 have been risen in some schools, while others maintained last year's cut-off points. While officiating at the opening of the 2023 Senior 1 selection and placement exercise at Lugogo, the Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Education and Sports, Katie Lamaro, urged head teachers of schools that learners being placed completed primary education to ensure their curriculars to secondary schools bear their identification numbers of the Education Information Management System.
Head teachers from various secondary schools have converged at Lugogo Uma Showground Main Hall to participate in this year's Senior 1 selection exercise. The exercise, unlike other years, was delayed due to technicalities at Uganda National Examinations Board. This time round, due to automatic promotion as a result of COVID-19 lockdown, some schools have been given big numbers of learners they might not accommodate. The deputy head teacher, Mengo Senior Secondary School, Paul Musoke, says they maintained the cut-off points for last year of between 4 to 6 for boys and 4 to 7 for girls. However, out of the 4,911 learners given to the school, it is only taking 600 and selling 4,311. While Iganga Secondary School has taken up to 8 aggregates and only 240 learners of the 1,700 given to them.
The application that we left at school, we are coming to 1,000. That means that the competition here is too tough. I think this goes to the fact that many students in PLE, primary, skipped classes because of fear of age.
We have over 1,200 on our selling list.
Kahinda Secondary School is a seed school in Fort Portal that takes aggregate 28 according to government policy.
When we have these 360 given to us by the system, we still have room to accommodate others who may come in on the selling list.
Kasese Secondary School has raised its cut-off points compared to last year. The deputy head teacher, Bosinje Judith, explained that they have capacity for 400 students but have been given only 360. The Career Master Kira College Butiki Arubu Enoch says their cut-off points of 8 aggregates for both girls and boys is influenced by the entrance quality.
We are at 18, but this time around the cut-off point for the girls is 14, and then for the boys 13. So the cut-off point has come higher than that one of last year.
Because of the quality of performance of the school, which is affected by or influenced by the entry quality.
The Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Education and Sports, Katie Lamaro, urged teachers to be objective, transparent and select learners according to merit.
That we required it for the learners in Senior 1.
And then the head teacher should look at the system and pick out the LIN, the learner identification number, and put it on the testimonial, such that when the learner now goes to a new secondary school in Senior 1, that number is there.
Chairperson of the Placement Committee, Dr. Jene Gau, advised head teachers to be honest and fair while conducting this exercise.
Really being honest to our children. There are some children who get 4 and they are left out from a school, and another person of 15, 28, 29 is given a place.
these complaints come back to us and the public is concerned. Let's be fair to the candidates that we have. All these children need placement.
I'm Nafka Farida and Stephen Kalisia in Kampala.
Members of Parliament have rejected a report from the Committee on Education on the motion of urging government to address the exorbitant fees charged by government-aided schools. The MPs rejected the report on grounds that its findings were not based on nationwide coverage.
Where government puts in money and pays 70% of the teachers, or even if it is 60%, they have capitation grant. They are charging over 2,300,000.
In February 2022, Tororo Woman Representative Saro Pendi tabled a motion in the House requesting government to take action on all government grant-aided schools over exorbitant charges. A select committee was then instituted to do investigations over the matter. A year later, the committee today presented the report findings to the House from 6 selected schools. The report was carried out in 6 schools, including Gayaza High School, King's College Budo, Nabisonsa Girls, Kawempe Muslim, Chibuli SS, St. Mary's College Chisubi, among others.
In both private schools and government-aided schools that have been cited, it borders to exploitation. Even if we invoke the principles of demand and supply in a liberalized economy, there is no justification for a school to charge over 2 million shillings right now. There is no justification.
It was found out that all of them were charging above 1.5 million without other requirements. Whereas some schools charged 1.5 million as their minimum, others charged 2 million shillings as their minimum. According to the report, a number of these schools hiked their school fees structures to be able to increase salaries of their arts teachers.
Schools had opted to top up salaries for their arts teachers as a motivation to enhance performance of the students. This also accounted for the increase in PTA funds.
Some of the recommendations, however, included establishment of a commission to regulate exorbitant fee structures, engaging implementers who are in the education business to harmonize with the government structures.
Not all statutory instruments come to Parliament for approval. This conflict of interest has continued to affect the regulation of school fees.
We want to cap school fees. Do we have the cost outlay of what schools incur as costs? Have we capped their running costs where we have a component as stakeholders?
The report was rejected by the whole House on grounds that it did not reflect a national picture, as the samples were only done in and around Kampala.
When the committee toured the government-aided schools, they only concentrated in Kampala. Yet, we also have up-country schools that also increase school fees too as well.
Some of the members had, however, proposed the adoption of the minority report that seemed to capture a fairly divergent picture, but was rejected by the Deputy Speaker.
Why don't we approve the minority report?
She has only a few areas of dissent, and she has very many areas where she agrees with the committee. So we would have caused confusion, picking out just a few areas where she accepts, and then we leave all others that are captured in the minority report, then all other major areas.
The committee has been tasked to go back to the field and return after 1 month with a comprehensive report based on national coverage. Susan Naong and Gloria Guitabinji reporting for ABC TV.
Minister for Gender, Labour and Social Development Betty Amongi has reiterated her position on the 6 billion shilling saga at National Social Security Fund, saying that the request was made in the spirit of the law. The minister says the strategies she produced were aimed at growing the fund. Now, this comes at a time where the Minister for Finance, Matia Kasaija, and the Board of Directors of NSSF deemed Minister Amongi's request irregular and out of order.
The Parliament Select Committee investigating National Social Security Fund has engaged Uganda Retirement Benefits Regulatory Authority, Minister for Gender, Labour and Social Development Betty Among, Minister for Finance, Planning and Economic Development Matia Kasaija, and the former Managing Director of NSSF Richard Byarugaba.
It will be a big subject in the talk tomorrow when we are examining the 6 billion shillings that you've all famously had.
Accordingly, Wilbur officials led by the CEO, Martin Nsoboga, told MPs that the land which accommodates Workers' House has no land title since a firm known as Alcon is in possession of the title, although the fund put a caveat on the title.
Yes, to the best of the information we have, the title is not there and they are processing a special title.
The same applies to some of the plots of land at the Temangalo site, which land titles are not also under the ownership of NSSF. Not even Matia Kasaija, the Minister for Finance Planning and Economic Development, who is the custodian of investment by the NSSF, has information about the land titles. On the 6 billion saga, the MPs have since registered satisfactory evidence that the Minister for Gender, Labour and Social Development, Betty Amongi, requested for the funds independently outside the provisions of the budget process of NSSF.
Yes, the 6 billion, yes. I want to repeat. When I was passing the budget, I asked them, I want precedents that have been set. Give me Honorable Kasaija's letter approving the budget. I read that letter. When they brought, I saw areas that Honorable Kasaija had stressed that make sure you handle this. I lifted those areas and put in my letter of asking for additional budget.
This is after a denial of participation by parties including the NSSF board, Minister for Finance, Matia Kasaija, and the Permanent Secretary, Minister of Gender, Labour and Social Development, David Chibenge.
You will present it?
So who asked for the money?
The 6 billion?
Yes.
It is not me. I heard it. Minister, I heard it somewhere.
Minister, you said you disagreed. You disagreed.
In the meeting, I disagreed.
You disagreed with
in
who?
The principle with who?
With my colleague, the minister.
Oh,
Minister of Gender and Social Development.
Minister Betty Among reiterates that the request was made in the positive spirit of the NSSF Act.
I had not yet approved the budget. It was part of the discussion leading to budget approval.
Also pinning Minister Betty Among is a request she made to the Chairman Board of NSSF to approve funds to the tunes of 40 billion investment to the Grain Council in another strategy to grow the workers' savings. This has also been contested since Minister Amongi has no jurisdiction of performing due diligence on behalf of the NSSF.
Wrote the board chairman requesting for 46 billion,
40 billion,
40 billion to Grain Council. Did I participate? I never participated.
The select committee is chaired by Mbarara City South Member of Parliament, Mwine Mpaka.
You would feel really bad. In fact, I call myself a victim. I know the Honorable Minister and the fund have tried to portray me as a villain. And to be quite frank, I am a victim and I feel really bad.
Daniel Mugoya, Gloria Gutabinji, UBC News.
Cabinet has approved the nomination of Beatrice Anywa, the Minister of State for Environment, as a member of the Global Leaders Group of Antimicrobial in Disinfectant Resistance. The group is aimed at maintaining urgency on antimicrobial disinfectant resistance across the globe. Minister of State for ICT, Godfrey Kabyanga, also informed the press of appointment of new members in Uganda Air Cargo Corporation and NERA.
Honorable Beatrice Anywa to serve as a member of the Global Leaders Group on antimicrobial resistance that is intended to, 1, maintain urgency, public support, political momentum, and visibility of antimicrobial resistance challenge on the global agenda. Cabinet approved nomination for appointment of the Board of Directors of Uganda Air Cargo Corporation as follows. the chairman, the incoming chairman, will be Honorable Captain Gad Gasatura, and the board will have members as follows: Lieutenant General Charles Okidi, Mr. Martin Odeke Omedo, Mrs. Jole Kamujina Kamuhangire, Mr. Emmanuel Osuna, and Mrs. Farida Charite will be members. Cabinet approved the appointment of 2 new members of the governing body of the National Identification and Registration Authority, and these are Mrs. Mase Kainowisho, who will be representing the Uganda Registration Services Bureau, and Dr. Atwib Mugasa, who will be representing the National Information Technology Authority.
Prime Minister Robinah Nabbanja has told Parliament that the signing of the oil production sharing agreement with UNOC has been completed, and the one for DGR will be in 2 weeks' time. She was reacting to a query by Kugzibwe Ronald, a member of Parliament for Roli County, Masindi District, who was questioning the fate of oil production sharing agreements. This was during Prime Minister's question time. Nabbanja says UNOC is to undertake operations in the exploration area, which stretches from over 1,000 square kilometers between Bulisa and Pakwach district. DGR will operate within Turako Block, a 637 square kilometer exploration area located in the Albertine Graben near the border with DR Congo in Toroko district.
That stretches over 1,285 square kilometers, stretching between Bulisa and the Pakwachi districts. This license was previously held by Taro, which made some discoveries. DGR, which owns another exploration license in areas of Kinyuatava, will be operating from Turako Block, which is a 637 square kilometer exploration area located in Albertine Graben near the border with Congo in Toroko district. Heritage Oil, a British company, had done some exploration in the area but abandoned it in 2004. The block reverted to the government as per the laws that govern this country. The signing, Right Honorable Speaker, of the production sharing agreement for UNOC is scheduled to take place today, and I believe it has already taken place. Today, 2nd February 2023, while the one for DGR will be done in 2 weeks' time. Right Honorable Speaker and colleagues, the 2 exploration areas that were given out are part of the 5 blocks that the government auctioned in the 2nd licensing round launched in the year 2019. The 3 which have not been given out are Avivi, 1,026 kilometers squared, Omuka, 750 kilometers, and Ngangi, 1,230 kilometers squared.
Thank you. Right Honorable Prime Minister, we have our 35 minutes. Now,
The Uganda National Oil Company has been awarded a production sharing agreement and exploration license that's in Bulisa district. This follows a laborious process right from the announcement of the 2nd licensing around May 2019 by engineer Irene Muloni, who was by then Minister of Energy and Mineral Development.
Uganda National Oil Company's commercial participating interest in the Production Sharing Agreement PSA will enhance the state's direct statutory participating interest in the oil and gas project and enhance the overall government commercial benefits from the 1,285 square kilometers Kasuruban contract area.
The performance guarantee or commitment to acquire suitable joint venture partners during the first exploration period is something that has to appear in the production sharing agreement. We need to agree on who you are entering into partnership with as government, because you remember you are holding the 15% interest on behalf of government. So all this is in the sharing agreement, which we are going to witness.
As a government entity, UNOC has the mandate to investigate and propose new mining ventures locally and internationally.
So the second licensing round for petroleum exploration was implemented to achieve a number of objectives. First, to attract additional investment in the country's oil and gas sector, but also to expand our country's resource base, which currently stands at 6.5 billion barrels oil in place, with 1.4 billion barrels recoverable.
Proskovia Nabanja, the Chief Executive Officer, Uganda National Oil Company, says the entity will use the exploration license as a strategic vehicle to develop its technical capacity to independently operate petroleum exploration and production licenses, which will lead to the maximization of national content in the petroleum operations.
As a very prudent national oil company, UNOC commits to comply with the terms and conditions for the award of the petroleum exploration license, and we shall fulfill all the petroleum exploration obligations of the Kasuruban contract area as specified in the production sharing agreement and in accordance with the existing law and regulatory framework. UNOC further commits and guarantees Government of Uganda that it will find a suitable joint venture partner within the first exploration period to work with in delivering the technical and financial obligations of the contract area.
UNOC has a cardinal national role to play in the upstream petroleum value chain to ensure sustainable utilization of the petroleum resources in the country. The new development in the oil and gas sector seeks to grow the country's resource base. This is in addition to ensuring that the costly infrastructure that is currently being put up is maximally utilized going into the future. Dennis Igoa for UBC News in Kampala.
Meanwhile, Uganda People's Defence Forces every February embarks on a series of activities ahead of the Terehe Sita celebrations, with community work and hygiene notable. This is in recognition of the efforts of Ugandans in the NRA war that led NRA into power. UPDF Army officers led by UPDF spokesman 1st Division Major Charles Kabona have engaged into community work cleaning Kachiri area.
National Resistance Army that rebranded to Uganda People's Defence Forces is to celebrate this year's Tarehe Sita Day with numerous activities across the country's barracks, mainly in Mbarara municipality. Health camps, construction and rehabilitation of social amenities, mainly schools, health centers, and fostering hygiene and sanitation through community work have been key activities ahead of February 6th every year.
Preparation for the Tarehe Sita Day, but thanking the people again by extending some activities in some other places where we shall have national celebrations, like in Greater Mbarara. You will find they have health camps, they have tree planting, they have academic debates in institutions, and they have sports and other activities.
Thursday morning, a team of UPDF officers carried out community work in Kachiri town with much emphasis on Kachiri market as residents and shop attendants collected garbage that they put by the roadsides, calling for the attention of soldiers at work to pick it. Kachiri Central Market Chairman Sam Sebagala and the Mayor Kachiri Town Council Moses Bisaso lauded UPDF for the commendable job.
UPDF ne police n'abantu b'omu kitundu okujja twegattako okubeera nti nno bayonja ekitundu kyaffe naddala obutale omuva ebyokulya nina essanyu lingi.
As they are celebrating their 42nd anniversary for giving back to the community, it is a very good gesture when we see men in uniform and women in uniform coming out of their barracks to come and interact effectively with the community. It is an inspiration to the community. The young men and women who are out, who are in our community, when they see men in uniform bending low to pick the garbage, they are inspired.
Uganda People's Defence Forces 1st Division spokesman Major Charles Kabona says that such activities are meant to appreciate citizens for their significance in the NRA victory and cementing a collaborative relationship.
You remember the year was 1981, 6 February, when our gallant soldiers, led by General Museveni, decided to attack the barracks of Kabamba, 1981, and launching a people's protracted liberation struggle. Because this struggle was for the people. Therefore, the people supported us because we are fighting for justifiable cause. Therefore, from that day, we normally come back to the people to thank them, to appreciate them for their contribution, for the sacrifice they made.
The National 42nd Tarehe Sita celebrations are slated for Monday 6th next week in recognition of Mbarara District's participation and recruitment of Fronasa patriots. The celebrations will also take place in other regions and areas. I'm Ivan Juko for UBC.
Cabinet has noted that Tarehe Sita celebrations shall be conducted in Mbarara City, that's Kacheka Stadium. The Army continues to extend social and health services in Greater Mbarara until Sunday this week. This year's event, is to remember the contribution of Fronasa in the 5-year protracted struggle.
This year's Tarehe Sita celebration shall be held for the first time in Mbarara Kacheka Stadium to celebrate the contribution of Anti-Amin Front for National Salvation, Fronasa, towards the liberation of Uganda.
That sacrificed their lives, sacrificed what they had to support those who liberated Uganda from the dictatorship of Idi Amin in 1979, and they are the forerunners of the revolutionary spirit. That yes, with no resources, you can sacrifice and get where you want to go.
Several activities are being conducted by the UPDF to mark the Tarehe Sita in the districts of Isinjiro, Ibanda, Rampara, Kiruhura, Mbarara and Kazo.
We are treating people with the dental issues. We are dealing with the ophthalmology, that is eye treatments, providing free reading and eyeglasses. We are providing mattresses to health centers. We have immunized expectant mothers and children.
But these are some of the things that we are doing as a ministry to commit ourselves to the people. These are people who helped the founders of the revolution when they were looking for a better vision for this country.
Tarehe Sita, celebrated every 6th of February, is the day a group of fighters launched a 5-year struggle in the bushes of Luwero. This year's celebrations shall be marked under the theme recognizing the sacrifice of the founders of the People's Revolution for socio-economic transformation. Marion Awori and Ivan Kahwa for UBC News.
Vice Chairperson Western Uganda, General Muhoozi Kainerugaba, Project Balamba Rugahara has this Thursday kicked off a mobilization campaign in Kampala, with market places being the main target.
On almost every day, mobilizers and coordinators of General Muhoozi Kainerugaba Project continue selling him out to members of the general public.
Era tusaba nese kusaba President Museveni bwabanga ateekateeka okuwummula atukirize ku lw'obululu bwaffe bwe tulina mu ggwanga Jeno MK amukirize yeesimbewo.
This Thursday afternoon, one of his lead mobilizer, Balamba Lugarhara, has spent the entire day in Busega, Lubaga division. The mobilization drive targeted the youth, vendors and border operators.
Muba mutusewa Jeno tusaba mutugambireko nti looni zitutta abakyala.
Abavubuka abali wano bonna bayinza okuba abasinga badesi ba MK naye olw'amaloboozi ge tukuwuliramu n'essuubi lye tulina mu Jeno waffe tujja kgenda mpola mpola nga twogereza gye bali bonna sebo bajja twegattako.
Oba oyina emiti emito omanya nti ekibula tekirina kuggwamu miti. Abavubuka mwekibira emiti gyenkya.
Lugahara appealed to members of Busega community to embrace the Four Stars General and the look at as a potential replacement of President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni.
I'm glad and I want to thank you for supporting Musei. The last so many years you've been supporting him. I'm appealing to you that time has come when we should support our brother General MK. So let us work as one. When the time come and he's retired from the army, let us all go to the polling station and vote him democratically. Okay?
For the youth, there is not so much about, but they are looking for someone who will pay attention to their daily challenges.
Njagala bagambe Muzeeyi Yoweri Kaguta ne Muhoozi abasirikale bayitiridde tukwata twagala kuzza abaana baffe ku ssomero batulinzemu.
The mobilization drive was wrapped up with a luncheon at Busega Central Market for the nearby community. The campaign will in the next week be rolled out in the remaining Kampala metropolitan markets by the same team. Robert Onyango, UBC News.
Send transport to the wrong person. Here's how to reverse it with MTN Mobile Money. Dial *165#. Select My Account. Select Initiate Reversal. You will see your last 3 transactions. Select the transaction you want to reverse. Enter your mobile money PIN and you'll get an SMS confirmation that the transaction has been blocked from being withdrawn. And that's it. Please note, only transactions that haven't been withdrawn can be reversed.
It's true what people say, that when I wash and you wash your hands with soap, we'll have less infections as Ugandans. After all, it's hands that handle money. It's hands that feed us. Hands that prepare soil for farming. Hands that we use to learn. And hands that we use for fun.
When I wash and you wash, it means clean hands for all. So, wash your hands with soap and clean water regularly to keep away infections and disease-causing germs. This message is from the National Hand Washing Secretariat with support from UNICEF.
Are you tired of high fees and slow transfer time when sending money? Look no further. Airtel Money is here to revolutionize the way you move your money. We have revised our rates, and now sending money from Airtel to other networks in Uganda, East Africa, and to the rest of the world has never been more affordable. Plus, you can trust Airtel Money to get your money where it needs to go quickly and safely. Simply dial *185# and start sending money. Switch to Airtel Money today and experience unbeatable rates and top-notch services for all your local and international money transfer needs. Airtel Money. Instant, secure, borderless.
This isn't just a girl. She is the future.
This is a teacher, a doctor, a community leader, our future president.
This is our family's pride.
This is my friend.
This is the future of our nation.
She is the future of Uganda, and the policies I enact today will protect her from teenage pregnancy.
She is the hope of our community, and I will talk to others about how we must protect her.
She is our family's pride, and I will protect her from child marriage and talk to her about the dangers of teenage pregnancy. We each have a role to play in empowering our teenage girls to protect them from child marriage and pregnancy, because when we empower them, we empower our nation. Protect the girl, save the nation.
Their support meant so much to me. I stayed focused and was protected from child marriage and teenage pregnancy. I will support other girls against child marriage and teenage pregnancy.
Take action. Report any case of defilement or child marriage to the police or call Sauti 116.
Okay, so these receipts, okay, plus this one equals,
Keeping up with your transaction history the old way.
1,000. Okay, I got this. I don't. Okay, maybe if I can just...
Keeping up with your transaction history with the My Airtel app. You have the power in your pocket. The power to keep an eye on your transaction history. Unlock that power with the My Airtel app. Visit the App Store or Google Play now.
It's easy.
Welcome back. You are still watching News Tonight. Security operatives in Arua City, spearheaded by Arua City resident Commissioner Ali Sakelo, have arrested a suspected human trafficker and rescued over 40 children in his possession from West Nile. On Wednesday morning, Sabir Siraji, a 27-year-old, and Alur from Zombo district, resident of Kawanda in Wakiso district, was arrested at Arua Hotel in Arua City as he was preparing to transport the children to Kampala. The children, aged between 5 and 16 years, were rescued from Continental Hotel in Arua City, a place where the suspect was keeping them for almost a week, awaiting transportation to Kampala.
I wanted to know whether one of the teachers recruited is here. Be recruited.
You come. The seemingly hungry children who were rescued from Arua Hotel in Arua City had reportedly been recruited from across West Nile. Their parents were reportedly enticed with promises of enrolling their children to Al Rahman Islamic Primary and Secondary School, said to be in Bombo, Luwero district. After the tip-off, Arua City resident Commissioner Alice Akelo became concerned and swung into action.
When I found very young children, I got concerned, and with the ADF threat, I thought I should look for who is behind this recruitment, because we are told a bus was coming to take children to Bombo, to a school. So immediately I got my intelligence to connect with the intelligence of Bombo to find out where this school is in Bombo, if it really exists. Up to 11 p.m. in the night, they had not found this school in the entire Bombo. We are going to investigate this. If we find that he is connected to ADF, we are going to surrender him to the army, because his acts is abnormal. He has contacts in Turkey, he has contacts in Saudi Arabia. It is abnormal.
Division Mayor of Arua Central Division, Muzaid Kemis, and his counterpart of Ayivu Division, Malon Avutia, said the same Siraji was last year arrested with very many children from Yumbe.
The police intercepted him in a Maracha. They intercepted him in a Maracha. That's what I'm aware about. From there, we don't know how he got bail. Today I've confirmed. He was from Lefori, Ajumani, Moyo. He traversed the whole of this place. We are really going to request the security to investigate this guy so properly.
This matter here, as a mayors of the city, we are going to follow it up to the court. Because this evidence is overwhelming. By the way, let alone the issues of conning, we have information that this gentleman has been sleeping with the people's daughters that he has actually brought under his custody. So we are going to subject some of those girls to examinations. This man had a case in Maracha. He is still walking free. A woman called from Bombo this morning, my colleague Mayor. A woman called and said 2 years ago, he called the children from there and she's still paying. She's still paying parents' monies in Bombo.
The family of Deputy RDC of Arua District, Muzamil Ezama, is a victim of fraud from the same Siraji when he conned the family of 12 million shillings.
This man called Sabil, the guy came said he had a very vast land he wanted to sell because he had some issues. I allowed him to pick money. He picked 12 million and he went and bought air. We registered the case.
Arua City RCC Alisa Kelo cautioned the parents and the community to stop entrusting their children into the hands of strangers.
If you don't have money for fees, why can't you take your children to government schools? And if next time I find parents giving away children that scholarship, I'm going to arrest the parents themselves. It is becoming too much. We need the future of these children. If we become lousy, if we become irresponsible, we are killing this nation.
People who have fallen victim of Siraji's crimes have been urged to register statements at police so that the matter can be forwarded to courts of law. Joseph Odama, UBC News, in Arua City.
Members of the Civil Society Budget Advocacy Group have appealed to government to prioritize its budgetary spending to the social and developmental sectors which directly impact the grassroots people in line with the National Development Plan 3. This was during the 2023-24 National Budget Pre-Dialogue held at Golf Course Hotel, Kampala.
The absence of a fully national agricultural financing policy as well as addressing the gaps in healthcare delivery are some of the priorities which government needs to address. Civil Society Budget Advocacy Group members led by Julius Mukunda said that the priorities identified in the National Development Plan 3 should take priority. This was during a dialogue at Golf Course Hotel in Kampala.
This is the background that we still have a challenge in executing government projects on time, but also on budget. The need to revise the capitation grant for primary education is very critical, but also the need to invest heavily in vocational institutions is another area that received a very good recommendation.
The Executive Director, Risk and Strategy at Bank of Uganda, Joyce Okello, said the bank has so far given over 711 billion shillings through agricultural credit facility to boost commercial agriculture.
BUST and the facility are intended to help the private sector meet their financing needs for investments in our value addition. And over time, we have been able to disburse a total of 711 billion Uganda shillings to over 2,600 projects across the country involved.
Other areas of concern which should be addressed include gender and equity funding, private sector development and markets, local government financing, among others. The Civil Society Budget Advocacy Group pre-budgetary dialogues have been bringing stakeholders in budget formulation, including government officials, members of parliament, private sector, among others, since 2004. I'm Navka Farida and Juko Collins.
Meanwhile, after Parliament of Uganda proposing a bill on drinking hours between 3 p.m. to 7 a.m., players in the alcohol business are concerned on how the regulation will be imposed. Beer makers say that once passed into law, the act will not only affect people's freedom, but equally their individual rights.
While unveiling the new managing director for Nile Breweries Limited, players in the beer industry appealed to legislators not to regulate drinking hours. Nile Breweries unveiled Adu Rando as the new managing director to steer the company to greater heights. Rando takes over from David Valencia, who has been at the helm of the company for the past 2 years.
We should increase in about 20% the amount of local materials that we procure, not just from the farmers, but from other suppliers, such as crowns. And we're continuing to support the farmers in this program that I say is the largest farmer supporting program that we have for AB InBev in the world in number of absolute farmers. We have more than 15,000 families receiving support from our program with training, with capability, with workshops, and also, of course, with fair trading and purchasing of the crops that they produce.
Rando, who has a vast experience in marketing, has been part of AB InBev, Nile Breweries' mother company, for the past 20 years, working in Brazil, South Sudan, China, and most recently, Tanzania. Meanwhile, Nile Breweries has affirmed reinvestment in 2 sports, mainly football, prioritizing the national team, the Uganda Cranes.
We celebrated the gold in the Olympics. We came together as we celebrated the Rugby Cranes victories, and we also brought together a nation closer together as we deployed Kabul in December in the big ambition and big dream to take the FUFA soccer Cranes into the next World Cup.
The company affirmed
State Minister for Land, Dr. Sam Mayanja, has asked Wakiso Resident District Commissioner Mbabazi Justin to arrest mafias claiming church land. This was during a meeting held at Namavundu Church of Uganda in Kasangati, Gayaza, Wakiso District.
The State Minister for Land, Dr. Sam Mayanja, escorted by Wakiso district leaders, has held a community meeting where church leaders are crying over continued threats from land grabbers. The land grabbers headed by Obadiah Sebaduka grabbed this land early in 2016 and in 2020 subdivided it into different plots and sold them.
Government bakyusa ettaka lino okuva mu freehold nebaliza mu Mailoland nebatandika okulisalamu ploti n'okuzitunda.
This land amounts over 10 dismissals where mafias destroyed all properties on the land owned by the church.
Abagula ploti zino bazze batutiisatiisa n'okusiba abakristaayo wamu n'omubuulizi waffe omwami Kizito Paulo yalugenderamu. Bayonoona ebintu by'ekkanisa byonna byali ku ttaka era kkooti yabalagira okutusasula ekintu kye baagaana.
The State Minister for Land, Dr. Sam Mayanja, after sensitizing the community about the land laws, he ordered RDC and her deputy to give security to the land and cancel land titles created on this land. The minister also ordered for the arrest of Obadiah Sebaduka and his partners.
The sanctity of the register be maintained. There cannot be 2 titles of land with competing interests, freehold and mile, issued over the same land. I therefore direct that the process of cancelling be concluded and Church of Uganda repossesses all its land and the integrity of the titles they hold on that land.
Dr. Mayanja decided to meet residents of Kakunyu village in Wakiso district who have been rendered homeless since Dr. Kagwa grabbed and destroyed their properties.
Mwezi gumu inanodala embana ebaze ku bibanja yammwe. Dr. Kagwa has stationed armed people on this ground. You know, the police is directed that no armed private guards on private land.
The minister ordered the arrest of Dr. Kagwa and also police with the command of the RDC take over the security of the land.
Now is a scene of crime. Police has taken over under the DPC. Ababona balimu abalina ezemundu n'abateva bona bajja kubadisaamu bafeewo. For that one, I ordered he be arrested. Instead, the fellow was just treated with the kindergarten gloves. Therefore, and up to now, nothing has happened. He has not been prosecuted at all. He has not even, I doubt even whether that bond is there, but I've just been told that he's on police bond now.
He then ordered the State House Anti-Corruption with the help of RDC to make sure that the residents go back to their land within 30 days.
As the minister has guided and directed us to come back and restore Vibanja holders. So that is why today we have been here and soon we are coming back to implement minister's directives. And as you are aware that of recent, His Excellency directed the district security committees to make sure that they should not, there is no eviction of the people, most especially the Vibanja holders.
The district or education officer, Wakiso Fred Shinobe, has cautioned school authorities to avoid hiking school fees without clear reason. He was speaking at a Thanksgiving at Esteem Junior School in Wakiso district.
It's 18.3 million.
Government has instructed all schools not to dare increase school fees, but rather follow government guidelines. The district education officer of Wakiso district, Fred Chinobe says it is wrong and unfair to increase fees, even after government is guidance not to do so. Chinobe appealed to all school authorities to avoid the routine practice of terminating teachers, a factor which hampers students' performance during their final academic years.
Kubanga nabo bennyini tebazirina kyenjagala okusabira ku nsonga eno abazadde abakulu directors abakulu b'amasomero abazadde tubawulirize nga baleeta abaana tusaba okuleta ekitundu mukkirize.
The school director Mundoi Esther cautioned learners to practice patience, commitment and hard work so as to ascertain success in whatever they are focusing on.
We got 98 first grades and 2 in second grade with a 14 and a 16. We really thank God for that. The teachers have done marvelous work.
Parents and the candidates, my message is don't let the grades define our children. We target the highest, but even when we don't get it, it doesn't mean the low grades are defining us, no. So I encourage them to be positive.
The area priest asked the congregation to value God and observe good morals in all aspects.
Some people have been employed because of the evil. Present our children God, because we know in the fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom. You cannot succeed in anything without God, as I heard the first commentator here telling us.
It's super fast internet. Oh, it's a super camera. It's a super battery.
Fun battery phone.
Yeah, it's a super deal. Get the Kabode Super from MTN now at a reduced initial deposit of only 49,000 shillings and pay the balance in Pola for as low as 833 shillings per day. Grab this Super Kabode deal this Christmas and get 2 GB of free MTN data every month for 8 months. Get the Kabode Super now from any MTN shop countrywide. Everywhere you go, MTN.
Regulated by UCC.
It's true what people say, that when I wash and you wash your hands with soap, we'll have less infections as Ugandans. After all, it's hands that handle money. It's hands that feed us. Hands that prepare soil for farming. Hands that we use to learn. And hands that we use for fun.
When I wash and you wash, it means clean hands for all. So, wash your hands with soap and clean water regularly to keep away infections and disease-causing germs. This message is from the National Hand Washing Secretariat with support from UNICEF.
Get the most affordable 4G smartphone in Uganda from Airtel. Now heavily discounted from 250,000 shillings to 150,000 shillings only. Yes! 150,000 shillings only to keep you connected to your loved ones.
Dial *175*94# to activate free 1 GB instantly and 100% double data on all weekly and monthly bundles for 3 months. Get one today while stock lasts from the nearest Airtel shop. With Airtel, the smartphone network.
Are you tired of high fees and slow transfer time when sending money? Look no further. Airtel Money is here to revolutionize the way you move your money. We have revised our rates, and now sending money from Airtel to other networks in Uganda, East Africa, and to the rest of the world has never been more affordable. Plus, you can trust Airtel Money to get your money where it needs to go quickly and safely. Simply dial *185# and start sending money. Switch to Airtel Money today and experience unbeatable rates and top-notch services for all your local and international money transfer needs. Airtel Money. Instant, secure, borderless.
Welcome back. Now, business news. The Consulate General of Uganda in Guangzhou, China, Ambassador Judith Nsababera, has urged Ugandan business community and those with interests in China to register with the consulate and benefit in the immense business opportunities in China. This call has followed the full reopening of the Republic of China after a long period of lockdown brought on by the COVID-19 pandemic.
The Consulate General of Uganda in Guangzhou intends to establish a Ugandan database living in her territory for traceability and support extension.
How are we able to support that? If you register and you send us your information and you tell us that you're in China for whatever reason and you get into any kind of problems, we're able to look into the system and we're able to trace the reason you came to China, and we're able to support you and figure out how to help you.
The business community is urged to build a clear rapport with the consulate to enjoy proper accreditation for different economic opportunities and related exhibitions.
China before COVID, it's been closed for 3 years. Could be different. So many things are different. Businesses may have closed, or for any unfortunate event, some things might have changed. So what we want to do as the consulate is that we want to have a platform to be able to share with people who want to do business in China how they can better engage. We're telling people, if you're trying to register a business, how do you create partnerships in China? We just came from a coffee event. People want to know, how do I market my coffee? You have to have an export license. There's a list of products that are accepted tariff-free. We can go through them. It's about 202 pages of things that you can send to China tariff-free. So that's some of the information that we can use.
Judith Nsababera, the Uganda's Consulate General in Guangzhou, elaborates on other significances of this Ugandan database.
QR code, this registration program that we're doing, is because people are now going to start to come back to China. And we want to be able to see how the embassy can support and the consulate can support. This information moving forward, we will then be able to tell you clearly how many Ugandans are coming to China.
Interested class assured of confidentiality of their basic data provided to the consulate.
We're asking for basic information. But we'll do our best to make sure that this is only used for the purposes that we're requesting it for. It is not for anything else. We're not selling the information anywhere. This is just really to support Ugandans.
The consulate has established QR code for all stakeholders to log in to for more information and registration. This is one of the strategies laid by the consulate to encourage Ugandans to resume business with China after a long period of lockdown attracted by COVID-19 pandemic. Abdul Nasir Lubwama for UBC.
And on the international scene, Pope Francis has called on young people in the Democratic Republic of Congo to put aside ethnic differences and build a new future. He also spoke about corruption, saying that people should never give in into its persuasive but poisonous temptations. His comments come on his last full day of the trip to the Central African nation on Wednesday. He addressed huge crowds at a mass in Kinshasa with a strong message of peace for those engaging in conflict in the country. Thursday's speech looked more at the ingredients for the future. The Pope is due to go on to South Sudan on Friday. Well, that does it for News Tonight. Thank you for sticking with us throughout the hour. I am Rhoda Ngonzi. Have yourselves a lovely night.
UBC, inspiring Uganda.
The most affordable 4G smartphone in Uganda from Airtel. Now heavily discounted from 250,000 shillings to 150,000 shillings only. Yes, 150,000 shillings only to keep you connected to your loved ones.
Dial *175*94# to activate free 1 GB instantly and 100% double data on all weekly and monthly bundles for 3 months. Get one today while stock lasts from the nearest Airtel shop. With Airtel, the smartphone network.